Today we are discussing the two books that we have so enjoyed in this semester, The Little Prince by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry and Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone by J.K. Rowling. Even I have also learned a lot from this novel. As a kid, my lack of understanding about adulthood wasn't because I was an unintelligent or a silly kid. It was because grown-ups are confusing and spend far too much time preoccupied with numbers and rules and measures. Basically, this book is a satire for grown-ups. Now I would love to hear your views regarding the books. How about you?
I totally agree with you, and one of the important lessons that I have learned is to look after the planet. The first thing in the morning is what we do is to look after ourselves by brushing our teeth and washing our face. Don't you? The second thing you must do is to look after the planet. The Little Prince told us that it is self-discipline. The Little Prince kept his planet green because he owns it, and that's what we should do to make our planet beautiful and safe. We should take every step wholeheartedly.
Well, the thing I want to mention here is that we remember to look beyond the surface. When the narrator draws a boa constrictor digesting an elephant, all the grown-ups around him see is a head. Their interpretations are dull and lifeless, their imagination long gone, feeling defeated. The narrator abandons a magnificent career as an artist, but all because adults refuse to see or feel. To a child, grown-up world can be perplexing. What is this work they always claim to have? Why do they refuse to run around the fields and find shapes in clouds? And why they assume that children know nothing? Who remembered their childhood will probably confused in this adult world that is so important, so grand, and yet so painful, boring.
So true. Grown-ups are very fond of numbers. If you tell them about a new friend, they will never ask the kind of questions that should be asked, such as what kind of voice does he have, what are his favorite games, and where did you met him. Instead, they ask how old is he and how much money does his father earn. They really do think this is the best way to find what sort of person he is.
Wow, such a great analysis you people have made. What is the one thing you want to share, Sufi?
Well, from the relationship of the Little Prince and Rose, I realized that we should never judge others by their words, but by what they do. Rose has brought joy and fragrance in Little Prince's life, but he still become angry on her due to some silly games. If he recognized the sweet soul which Rose has, he have not wasted those time apart on her, and this is very common mistake we make as a human. We don't give second chances and realize the behind other person's deed.
Spot on, Sukoon. I also want to add this to that. We don't like that relationships can make the life worth living. We can deduce this from the relationship of Fox and the Little Prince. Before the friendship, they are a random Fox and the Little Prince to each other. But when they created a new relationship, they want each other. Little Prince was very unique in the world for the Fox. We should realize how much we lose by not having honest relationship like our parents, siblings, and friends. We should value our relationships because being lonely is devastating.
Yes, I completely agree with you, Fatma. And you need time and patience to build beautiful relationships. Meaningful and deep relationships are very important to live a happy life. The little prince builds fun with the fox. He tames her. Nowadays, we don't give quality time to one another, and that is making damage in our society. It should be our first priority to build relationships.
Great point, Aisha. And I think the relationships can be built through conversations. We should provide each other time and have the conversations on daily basis. What do you think about it, Han?
I agree, and I feel you don't have to be alone to feel lonely. It is very common to feel lonely even when surrounded by others people. Especially during the listen closely to your friends and to the people who you love to check if they are okay or if they feel lonely. Especially during these crazy times we are living in. We all are very busy in our own lives and don't find any opportunity to spend time with our family and relatives. There are times when you feel lonely yourselves. The day you become friend with your innermost part, you can never feel lonely again. After all, if you are aligned with yourself, you can always find a good company which is on the same track as you are.
I can see you people have made lots of analysis on relationship. But I want to mention another point related to our behavior. To get better results in our life, it's necessary that we should never stop asking before we get a satisfying answer. Little Prince never stopped his question. Little Prince never stopped asking until he get a satisfying answer. It doesn't matter if he need to ask 3 to 4 times. He just keep asking and asking. Because for him, learning and understanding the world and the meaning of life is at the basis of everything. This is clearly one of the key learnings from the book, and it is recurring again and again in different chapters.
Well, for me, the most important life lesson was to follow your teaching, to explore his own world. Explore. When the little prince meets geographer who refuses to explore his own world because he is too busy researching far off land, we learned that is it far too easy to fall into the trap of investigating into the places we wish to explore but never actually going anywhere.
Good point. And it seems you are really interested in traveling. What do you think, Zeke?
Well, I want to include this point that we as human beings believe that we are really important. But when you think about the planet Earth, the solar system, and the whole universe, and then you easily realize that we are pretty insignificant after all. Remember, when you feel like facing a really big problem or your ego is too big, zoom out and see the things as they really are. Whatever happens to you, the planet will keep going anyway.
True, Xenia. As we say, life goes on. And I finally want to add up to look up at the stars. Stars mean different things to different people. For travelers, they tell them where they are going. For others, they are just little lights in the sky. For a scholar, for scholars, they are the world of unknown to be discovered and understood. No one sees the stars as you do. We all have perspective and opinion, and we should look up to it.
Thank you for your insightful observations. Now, can the rest of the now,